Okay, the moment of truth has come and it's time to give your presentation that you worked so hard on in front of a live audience. All these staring eyes, kind of spooky. I'd rather eat cheese. So to begin your presentation, you can either come up here on the quick access toolbar and click on the command start from beginning, or you can see in the pop-up hit the F5 key on the keyboard, or you can do it from the ribbon, click on the Slideshow tab, go to the Start Slideshow group, and also you can do it there from the beginning or from the current slide. When you do it that way, just come down here and select the slide you'd like to start from, and that's the current slide you have selected, so click on it, or you can see in the pop-up, hit the Shift F5 keys and it'll start from slide 3, or you can come down below on the status bar and click on Slideshow right there. Of course, when I click on it, it'll start from slide 3, so I can either come up here and do it from the beginning or select slide 1, and then come down here and click on Slideshow. Now there are many ways you can advance from one slide to the next. Like the most simple way is to click on the left mouse button, you go to the next slide. Now if you need to go back, you can hit the letter P on the keyboard, takes you right back, or you can move your mouse around really fast and hit the back arrow to go back, or of course you can click on it to go forward. You can also use the arrow keys on the keyboard. Right goes forward, left goes back, up goes back, down goes forward, or you can use the page up and page down keys. Page down goes forward, page up goes back. And you can use the space bar as well, or you can right click anywhere during the presentation and you can advance to the next slide, the previous, last viewed. You can also see all slides, which if you do that, you don't mind everybody else looking at your entire presentation before it's given. Of course, it's kind of tiny, so they may not understand or comprehend what they're looking at, but you do. So you can go ahead and select slide 1, go back to the first, or if you want to jump to a bunch of slides and not have to reveal it all, you can hit the number on the keyboard, like let's say we want to go to slide 8, hit number 8, hit enter, jumps right to it. If you want to get back to slide 1, you can hit 1 on the keyboard, hit enter, or you can hold both mouse buttons down at the same time. There you go. Takes about 2 to 3 seconds. Or another option is that if somebody gave you the presentation and you're like, oh man, I totally know the topic, but I don't remember what slide that's on, you can hold down the control key and hit the letter S, and you can see all the titles. So at least you got something to work with if you're like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to cover Ghost Hunting Review 2013. Select it, click on Go To, and jump right to it. So make sure you got your titles down if you want to be able to use that feature. Otherwise, if you don't have them written correctly, maybe you understand what it means, but if somebody else gets it, they may not pick the right title that will take them to the right slide. Let me go ahead and hit the Escape key on the keyboard so I can end the presentation. What about those slides that are hidden? Like let's say slide number 2. As you recall, you can right click on the slide to go down to hide it. So during the presentation, it'll jump from slide 1 and go to slide 3, Unique Paranormal Research. Go back to slide 1, then begin the show. Then when I click to advance, it goes to slide 3. Now let me go ahead and hit the P for previous. If I'm right next to the slide that's hidden, like slide 2 because this is slide 1, and I want to all of a sudden reveal that slide without having to end the presentation, right click to unhide it. All you have to do is go ahead and hit the letter H on the keyboard and it will reveal the next hidden slide. Now it has to be the next one because that doesn't make sense. If we're on slide 1 and slide 5 is hidden, it won't jump right to it when you hit the letter H. It just goes right to the next slide, the slide that's hidden. And if it's not the next one, then it does nothing. Also, if you use the shortcut keys Control S, you can see right here, let me get off of it, that whatever's in parentheses means it's hidden. So if I'm on slide 4 and I go to it, I'm like, I'd like to go to a hidden slide, and you're not right next to it, so you can hit the letter H key to advance to it. Well, Control S, go to 2, click Go To, and it takes you right to that hidden slide. Let me go ahead and end the presentation here. Now let's go ahead and right click to deselect hiding the slide so it's now unhidden. Now if you have sections, as we covered in an earlier training video, where you right click in between slides to add a section, so it adds the ones that I haven't selected under the default section, and then the rest is under the untitled. So if I right click on that to rename it, call it my process section, rename, and then these are, we'll rename to introduction, rename. So when you're giving your presentation, let me come down here and start it, and you right click and you go to see all slides, it updates it so now you have sections available as well. So there's the introduction, or you can go right to the process. It highlights it, so if that's what you want to start from the first slide in the process section, click on it. and then you can continue on your presentation without even breaking a sweat. Other options that you have when you're giving your presentation, let me move my mouse around so you can see it. In fact, that's one point, is that if you don't want it to disappear like it did in just 2 seconds, right-click and go down to pointer options and go down to arrow options and say you always want to make it visible during the presentation. That way when you hold still, it doesn't disappear. Let's see, other options, right-click. You have screen options that if you want to stop and take a break, but you don't want to turn off the projector, you want to keep it at the same slide, or you need to do a presentation of flashlights, you need everything to go black, you get the option to go black, or if you want people to write things down but not to focus on the slide, then go black. And then if you want it to go white again, you can right click and choose white, or better yet, you can use the shortcut keys. Let me click off. You can hit any key on the keyboard and it brings it back, and then B for black to go black, hit the letter B, hit any key to bring it back, or W for whiteout, so that way we get this blinding white light up against the screen or the wall, so that way people can see what they're doing. And then to get back to the presentation, hit any key and then it picks up where you last left off. And right click again in the presentation. We got our pointer options. You got the laser pointer, click on it. Ooh, don't laser my eyes. Right click. Let's go to pointer options to get rid of it, or let's go to a pen. So that way you can click and emphasize something by dragging around it, circling it. Hey, we got to shoot. In any case, if you want to get rid of all the writings that you just did, hit the letter E on the keyboard, it erases. And right click if you want to change the pointer options from the color red, which is the default, to another fancy color like yellow. And then the letter E to get rid of it. Let me right click. If it doesn't get rid of it, go to the screen option. Let's go down to the pointer options and deselect the pen so we're not in pen mode. And hit the letter E on the keyboard to erase it. Right click again, pointer options. You can do highlighter, that's always fun. Click and drag, puts it in yellow. Click and drag, pull emphasis during the presentation. Again, hit the letter E on the keyboard to erase everything, including your highlighter. And if you added any additional writings that you did with your pen, it erases all. And then right click, pointer options, and click on it to deselect. If you hit the F1 key on the keyboard, hey, look at all these shortcuts. N, left click, space, right, or down arrow, enter, or page down, advance to the next slide in animation. Rehearse recordings, rehearse or record shortcuts, media, ink or laser pointer, Control P, change pointer to pen, Control I, highlighter, arrow, eraser. Of course, I just hit the E, but Control E works here. In any case, go ahead and test those, and then touch if you've got a touch screen. Click OK when you're done.